Schalke. Oh, they've done it! Simon Terodde, an instant hero! Can you believe it? Plenty attacking! No! The comeback is complete! A stunning second half from Schalke!
Blau und weiß sein Leben lang. Herzlich willkommen zurück auf Schalke America. Welcome to episode 185 or some change of Schalke America. I'm your host, Richard Carmen. Forget you, go to hell, Bayern, Ludenscheid Nord, and Union. You could have done us a favor, you did not. But I digress. How are we doing tonight, everyone? Victory Monday. It's a Victory Monday podcast. Of course, we're here. No Jack Mangan because, like every other player on Schalke, Jack is on the IR. So, Jack, hope you're getting better, my friend. Hope you get back before even Fairman, Skarka, and Brunner. We'll get to them in a bit. But, yeah, it's a Victory Monday podcast. Medhunter is in the house. Good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time it is day for you. Glück auf. I'm drinking my my Marius Bulter drink here, Angry Orchard here. In honor of the big man getting 2 goals in this weekend's game. Big game, obviously. Victory Monday. We're going to talk about. We'll get into the game. Big win. We needed to win. It was a must-win game. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, our friends around us. Not even friends. Our bitter rivals around us did us no favors. They're all in the title hunt, and they just choked. But let's get into the good news first. It was us against Hertha Berlin. Relegation 6-pointer absolutely was a game that both teams needed a victory in this one. Heading into this one, I mean, we were at the bottom of the table at the time. Hertha is obviously struggling. Stuttgart's struggling. Balkan, everyone around us is struggling at the moment. But going to this game, we had especially a poor performance against Hoffenheim the week before, which another game we should have won. And we did not. It looked really flat, really poor. And I was unsure how we were going to come out in this one. I know Jack felt the same way. Starting 11, Fairman and goal. I mean, it's fairly similar starting 11. Brunner at right back, Matriciani on the left, Jens and Kaminski. So Jens back into the starting 11, feeling better. Good. Yoshida out with a muscular injury. So in comes Kaminski. Kaminski, only his second start of the season. So Kaminski and Jens in the middle. Kraus left out of the starting 11 in this one. Latza would be in the starting 11 next to Kral. We would see a different front three. Bulter, of course, always on the left-hand side. Skarka back into the starting 11 with Drexler as well. I mentioned Kraus, Sinata, and Drexler coming in. No Salazar as well. And then another guy, Michel Frey, out of the starting 11. In comes Simon Terodde, obviously with the news before last weekend's game against Hoffenheim that Simon Terodde said he was done. This is his last season Schalke, no matter whether we stay in the Bundesliga or go to Zweite Liga, he was done. He's going to move on. And so that was obviously some rough news to hear before the Hoffenheim match. The team obviously came out flat, but he will get the start in this one. In the press conference leading up to the match, Thomas Reis did say that he felt that maybe Simon Terodde's turn was here and he had to come back and see what he can do for us, given especially this is his last season with us. Some motivation to hopefully keep us in the Bundesliga, which that would be Terodde's goal. Obviously, it's Thomas Reis's goal. Before we get into the game, hey, what's up, Paul? Paul and El Wafflo's in the house. Paul Glück auf aus Florida and El Wafflo from Germany. In the post match, I guess after Hoffenheim, looking at that press conference, I was. I mean, you can see the articles on SchalkeAmerica.com. Do or die. I was not too happy with Thomas Reis and his comments after them. Obviously, he talked about how the team looked flat, this and that. But there was no sense of urgency in him, right? He said that perhaps it's a must-win game against Hertha Berlin. Like, are you serious? Like, it is a must-win game. It was a must-win against Hoffenheim. How he didn't get that, I don't know. Maybe it's just how he portrays himself in the press conferences. Maybe behind the scenes it was a little bit different. I was curious to see how this team would come out. But we saw, Jens Kaminski in the middle. Latza obviously inserted into the starting 11, as is Drexler and Skarka and Terodde. All these players that he brought in were key contributors in this matchup. On the bench, Schwoloff, who we would see in this game. Fairman would pick up an injury in the game, pulled a groin. It looked like he's out for several weeks. Also on the bench, Karaman, Greimel, Toyer, Kraus, Salazar, Urnen back in the bench. Michel Frey and Thomas Oweyan. So a pretty solid lineup, I think, overall. Looking over at the Hertha Berlin side, Christensen, Uramovic, Cigaretti, who got an injury in this one. Luka Bacchio, who always plays well against us. Jovetic, very talented striker. Kempf, Plattenhardt, the captain. Richter, who always plays well against us, it seems like. Kevin Prince Boateng, Tudor, and Dardai. Dardai will be in your ears from the recent news because as a result of this game, his dad comes back into the team. See if he can help them stave off relegation. Hopefully not. I think they need a good reset, but I digress. But this was a absolutely good a good game, a must-win game for us, I think. I know we had to. I mean, given the results at Hoffenheim, losing to Bayer Leverkusen is one thing, right? They're better than the table. They're better than us on the table. They're fighting for European spots, maybe even a Champions League spot. You can let that go, right? Especially after an 8-game win streak or 8-game unbeaten streak. You can let that one go. But Hoffenheim, it's a relegation 6-pointer, a direct rival for survival, and Schalke comes out flat in Sinsheim. Look really, really poor. But you have to let it go and move on to Hertha Berlin. We cannot dwell on these things. And I told you the new men came out flying in this one. Tim Skarka, within the first couple minutes of the game, a wonderful, fortuitous keep the ball, I guess, but wonderfully right-footed shot, top right corner off the crossbar, perfect placement of the goal. Wonderful way to start the game there. Skarka, the guy who I wasn't sure of him, his performances thus far this season have been like, sometimes you saw some moments of brilliance, sometimes moments where he's lacking with speed or something technical ability, but he came out flashing in this one. Friend of the show, Derek Ray, was on the commentary, at least in the States. And he mentioned that, these kind of games with the high tension, either the big boys come out to play or you hide and worry. And Skarka came out to play. He was banging in this game, came out to great goal, start the game. The crowd was immediately behind the team. I mean, anytime you get the support behind you, we have the best fans in the Bundesliga and in the world. And getting 3 minutes of the game to get them, they're already pumped up going into this game, and then you get them into the game like that. Oh my goodness, what a way to get the game going. Skarka would not end there. Just 10 minutes later, nice assist. And it's nice throwing, honestly, that Brunner gets the ball or throws it into Drexler. Drexler, nice move to evade the defender. Quickly gives it to Skarka on the right-hand side, who crosses over the top. And Marius Bulter, angry tree, right? He gets a header. He gets the header on the back door. 2-0 off the bat. 10 minutes in, Skarka with a goal and assist. I mean, that's a perfect way to start the game. As of the updates are coming in my phone, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on here? This is how we should have came out against Hoffenheim. We did not, but hey, we did it against Hertha Berlin. Came out 2-0, looking really good early on. Hertha obviously struggling in the onset. Schalke was all Schalke. Every couple opportunities that Hertha had, Schalke responded. 5 more chances. Hertha would make a substitution because obviously they look flat. Cigaretti would come off. Thought he was injured, but no, it was just the referee, the manager pulling him. Sandro Schwartz pulling him, unhappy about him. You can see the reaction of the player as he comes off. And they make a change, and still it's Schalke's up 2-0. Look very comfortable. I thought we had as long as we went to halftime with a shutout, I'd be happy because we could just reset and keep going from there. As the half went on, Hertha starting a little bit more opportunities here and there. You saw them starting to challenge Matriciani a little bit, especially with the pace. And eventually, in stoppage time of the first half, Jovetic, he's a player who has talent. He always has in his career. He's played for teams like Man City and Fiorentina. He's playing some big teams, showing us why he's played on those teams in the past with some nice footwork. Sloppy defending by Schalke, but I mean, great goal by Jovetic. Good pass Schwolow. I mentioned Fairman got injured. Fairman got injured in the 36th minute. Wasn't sure what the injury was, but you watch the replay. It's obvious it was a groin injury, and groin injuries take a while to heal up. And so Fairman's, as early reports are, he's out for a couple weeks at least. No timetable for his return. You got to be worried. You got to be careful with the groin because the groin is, I don't have to tell you guys, it's very sensitive, right? And so pulled groin, I've had myself a pulled groin. It takes sometimes months to heal if you don't do it properly. I'm sure they have better medical staff than I had at my hands privy to. But Schwoloff did come in, gave up that goal, and I don't even think it was Schwoloff's fault. It was just a really great track, really great play by Jovetic. But you hate to go down 2-1. Going into halftime, we had all the momentum in the game, and then they scored this late goal. Anytime a team scores a late goal, it could really change the momentum of the game. We go into halftime out 2-0. Luckily, whatever Thomas Rice had said to the team prior to the match, they came out with a bang. He must have said the same thing at halftime, or Gerald Asamoah or whomever. And out of the gates in the second half, Schalke started out very, very well. Was forced to make substitution at the end of the first half. It looked like Tim Skarka got a cleat to the ankle, and man, he had a bloody sock. He is also out for indefinite, no timetable for his return. Obviously, something with the leg injury. I don't know if he obviously has a cut, but I don't know how severe it is. I haven't seen any of the recent reports yet, but we know that it's for several weeks at least. As with Ralph Fairman. So his replacement at halftime would be Keenan Karaman. Keenan Karaman, right out of the bat in the second half, he was jumping all over the place. Reads the play very well early on in the third minute of the second half. He ends up does a nice play to get past the defender, gets into the box, finds Simo Taroto. You see him looking for the open space, finds it. Keenan Karaman luckily finds him, and Taroto finally, he scores a goal. What is this, the third or fourth of the season? And boom, 3-1, restore that 2-goal lead, what we needed. Great way to start the second half, because again, that goal that happened at the end of the first half, it really could have changed the momentum of this game. And luckily, Schalke, whatever Kool-Aid they were drinking before the game, they drank it at halftime, and allowed them to restore that 2-goal lead. Absolutely needed this one. The half would continue. I mean, Schalke just looked like they wanted it more. Hertha looked flat, turnover after turnover. You started seeing Hertha getting more and more frustrated with the play. We'll see the stats here in a little bit, but they had several more fouls than Schalke did. They were looking to play a physical type of game, and it just wasn't working for them. We've been there, right? We've been the team who's been the underdogs and try to play a more physical game, and doesn't always work for us. And it didn't work for Hertha in this game. I'm not going to complain about it. It's happy for me. But we would continue on 3-1. I was happy at that point. If the scoreline ended at 3-1, I thought it would have been a good game. But we weren't done there. We weren't done though. The Angry Tree would continue with a nice play. Oh, man, I don't remember who kind of set up the play, but it was Karaman ended up giving it to Latza. Latza with a nice play over the top, perfectly weighted ball, dropped before the goalkeeper over the defender. Marius Bulter gets on the end of it and chips it over the goalkeeper. Nobody could get to the end of it. Goes in the back of the net. Second goal of the game for Marius Bulter, his 9th of the season. 4-1 lead. When's the last time we had 4 goals in a game? It seems like it's been forever and a day since we had 4 goals in a game. 4-1 at that point. At that point, I was like, man, we're going to just keep scoring all day long. I'll take it. But a good lead there. And I think at that point, we started a little bit letting off our guard, because I think Hertha really started coming at us. Maybe they just felt embarrassed and they started waking up finally. Marco Richter is a player who had a pretty good game, I think, despite losing, as in fashion they did. He would actually end up scoring in the 84th minute. Another nice goal by them. I think Luka Bacchio with the assist in that one. Made it 4-2 at that point, and we're like, okay, well, it's a consolation goal or whatever. But in stoppage time, free kick, and you have Marius Bulter over the ball with Marcin Kamiński, and you're thinking Bulter's got to go for it, right? He's on a hat trick. He's going to go for it. Everyone in the stadium, I thought, was going for it, especially all Hertha. And it was Kamiński. Kamiński steps up. Wonderful free kick. It goes past everyone, past the wall, past the keeper, and into the goal. Fantastic goal. 5-2 victory in this one. Wonderful performance for the team. Couldn't have asked for anything better in this one. Again, possession overall statistics, it looked fairly even. I think the optics will tell you Schalke were the better team. Obviously, with the 5-2 scoreline, they were the better team. Certainly the more clinical of the two, but, shots 14-11 in our favor, shot the target 7-5. Fouls, again, I mentioned, Hertha with more fouls, 19-12. Corners were fair, even on corners, and XG was a lot closer than I expected. With 5 goals, you thought the XG would be well over 3. And I think even Bundesliga on TV, they said it was like more like 2.78 or something. But nonetheless, we won the XG battle on this one. I think it's a great performance overall by the team, in a must-win game. As I mentioned, the new players that came in, I thought had really big impact in the game. Jens, good to have Jens back in there. Solid backline player, arguably, or signing the season for us, coming in January. He really kind of transformed the defense since his insertion. Kaminsky, good to see Kaminsky back. I thought he brought a lot. He was the yin to Jens's yang. Had a good play early on, snuffing out the ball. Good partner, played the long ball a lot. Obviously, with the free kick goal, was a threat on and set pieces, both defensively and offensively. Contributed a lot. Lots of brought, I thought, the experience we needed in that midfield. You never know what you're going to get with Latza. Obviously, he has experience. He is the club captain. But in this game, I thought, without Tom Kraus in there, he did well to kind of steer the ship and keep cooler heads, I guess, in a way. And obviously provided a nice assist to Marius Bulter on the second goal. Drexler, he came off, and eventually Kraus replaced him, I believe it was. Drexler had a decent game, overall. He was involved, obviously, in the first goal. He's a hard-nosed player, has the offensive ability, as we know. But he had a pretty decent game. Schalke, obviously, fantastic insertion for him, for a small cameo for him, goal and assist, and 1/2 a play. Did not expect that from him. Out of all the players inserted into this lineup, I probably would have thought about Schalke the least, being impactful in this game. And I thought he did a fantastic job, not only to get the shot off and wonderfully placed as it was, but then the heads-up play, even the assist, I think was even better than the goal. Getting himself open, finding a way to cross the ball ever so slightly. A beautiful touch on the ball to get it past the defender, pass it in a place where the keeper couldn't get it, nor the defense. And Marius Bulter read it all the way, and all he had to do was head the ball into the goal. So Schalke, I thought, played really well. Simo Torda as well. I thought, for the most part, he's holding up the ball well. He's always good off the ball, especially defensively. Is always pushing back and trying to defend for his team. But he was heavily involved throughout his time in the game. And then obviously getting in the right place in the right time for the goal. He's a poacher. You can see it on the goal where he's looking for the open play and the defender's on him, and then eventually the guy who's defending him looks at the ball watching, and Simo Torda just slips back a little bit, gets in this open space. Luckily, Keenan Karaman caught it, fed him the ball, and puts it away as he did last year, I should say, not so much this year. And then obviously again, Marius Bulter. What more can you say about him? The team MVP this season, probably, right? At least with goals. Tom Kraus is probably the heart and soul of this team this season, but I think Marius Bulter, with his 9 goals contributed this year, a lot of them mostly in the second half. If we are fortunate to survive, he'll be one of the biggest reasons why, him and probably Maurice Jens. So great performance again by the starting 11, and then Schwoloff coming in a backup role. Okay, he did an okay performance. Before Fairman left, he had a world-class save, and I forget who it was. It might have been Richter. I forget exactly, but great save by him. I thought Fairman was having a good game. Fairman's been good for us since, returning to the starting 11. But he goes off. Schwoloff comes on. Schwoloff did okay. He did okay, I think, in this game. He gave up 2 goals. Neither goal was his fault, I think. It was just, a lapse in judgment by the defense. And really well played, really well done by Hertha on both goals. So I think, can't fault him too much for that. Karaman had a really good game, I thought, coming in on the second half, involved immediately on the goal. He's always, he has a good work rate for an attacker, very much like Simo Torda, willing to help out defensively and trying to get the job done. A big reason why not only the goal was scored, but also in that second goal, or the second goal from Marius Bulter, Keenan Karaman had a lot to do with it in intercepting the play and causing the turnover where the ball ends up going to Dani Latza. Also in this game, Urinen came in late in the game. Brunner picked up an injury. Looked like a shoulder injury. I don't know if he dislocated his shoulder or something, but he came down pretty hard, I think, in a battle with Luca Bacchio or I don't remember which of the Hertha players he collided with, but certainly injured his shoulder, had to come out, had to hold his arm in place, and Ornan came in. So Matriciani had a decent game, move over to the right-hand side, which is a more familiar side. Ornan jumped on the left-hand side. Ornan was okay, I think. First time we saw him in a long time. It was okay. Good to have him back in general, just to have depth. And Owayan is also on the bench, but we didn't have to use him today. Matriciani, I think, in this game was not bad, right? At times he made some really great plays. Other times he was getting beat for pace. Luca Bacchio is a hard player to defend. Very, very pacey, very shifty with the ball. And Matriciani at times did struggle. Their opening goal second goal, came through Matriciani's side. But overall, I think you could see why he was voted rookie of the month. With the play he's had, the crowd loves everything. There's a play that encapsulates Matriciani so well. It was like a play where I think might have been Luca Bacchio again. He's just the man of the hour. It seems like we thought he read the offside trap very well. Ended up being offside, but he thought he read the offside trap well. Ball's going down. Matriciani doesn't know if it's offside or not, so he continues to hustle down the ball. But Luca Bacchio cuts into the right, kind of cuts off Matriciani. Matriciani just keeps beelining it down, hustles, and eventually, stuffs the shot that Luca Bacchio had. Ends up being offside. It was all for naught, but the crowd didn't know. The crowd didn't care. They loved what they have from Matriciani, the heart and soul, the passion. That's what they want from all the players, not just Matriciani. Matriciani and Kraus, those kind of guys, they've been showing it every time they play this year. And that play again alone is why people love Matriciani so much, Lord Matriciani, because he never gives up on a play, even when he's by far the least talented player on the pitch. He finds a way. He's gutsy. He battles it out, and that's all you could ask for. But excellent game again. Man of the match, if you didn't know already, it was Marius Bulter, 2 goals in this one. Again, nine goals on the season. You would think every time in the past in the Bundesliga, usually the leading goal scorer probably has like 20 something, almost 30 goals. Maybe because we're sick of having Lewandowski in the league. He's no longer in the league. The leading goal scorer this year only has 16, 17 goals this year. And Bulter's up there. Bulter's in the mix. One of the league leaders. Certainly the best player on Schalke this year. But 9 goals, nothing to scoff at. So good season by him. I mentioned good performances by the team. A few players made it into the team of the week. First in kickers, we had 3 players in the starting 11. Obviously, Marius Bulter with his 2 goals. Tim Skarka with his goal and assist made the top 11, as did Kaminsky with his fantastic goal, free kick goal, and obviously his performance overall. So those 3 players made kickers top 11, best 11 of the week. Then over to Sports Schau, we had 2 players here. Marius Bulter, again, obviously 2 goals, but then Maurice Jens making their best 11 as well. So good to see some love from Schalke players. Much deserved win in this one, and so had to win that game. As far as the standings go, after this game, we currently sit not in the bottom. We're 1 up from the bottom. We're in 17th. At the time after the game, we were in 16th, but some results didn't go our way. Current standings are Hertha, dead last, 22. We are in 17th on 24, tied with Stuttgart, who have a better advantage over us. They're on 24 as well. Bochum at 27, Augsburg and Hoffenheim at 29, and then Werder 32. I mentioned that some results didn't go our way, and particularly our rivals Bayern, Ludenscheid Nord, and Union. Well, Union's not really a rival, but Leipzig, forget Leipzig too. But some of the results from this past weekend, man, they were hurt. They're hurting, right? So Köln and Mainz 1-1 in that game. We could have wished Mainz would have got a result in that one. Dortmund, somehow those mother effers had a 2-goal lead and I think a 3-1 lead and blew it. They choked it away to Stuttgart. Stuttgart had a man down for a majority of the game. I think 80 minutes of the game, they had a man down. And they blew it. It blew their title chances away, too. 3-3 that game, a game that we had the game we had to pull for them against Stuttgart, and they choked. And Stuttgart got a point of that 3-3 of that game. That was an unbelievable result. A terrible result for us, for sure. Another game of the weekend. Another game this weekend. Bayern against Hoffenheim. You thinking Bayern's going to score 7 goals against Hoffenheim? No. Bayern choke as well. They somehow give up a goal. It's 1-1 in a game against Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim came to play, boosted from their victory against us last week, I guess. I don't know. Bayern had a chance to go top of the table. I guess they're still at the top of the table now, but 1-1 somehow they blew that. I said screw Leipzig. They did us a favor by beating Augsburg, but who cares about Leipzig? But Union Berlin against Bochum. That's a game that we had to see Union beat Bochum. We needed that, especially at the bottom of the table. Any point we can get, the better, because we were 2 points behind Bochum at that point. But they get a point out of it. Juranovic gets a goal in stoppage time, make a 1-0 Union Berlin. You're like, okay, we're good here. Kevin Stoger in the 55th minute get a penalty. Like, all right, 1-1. They still got a chance here. Honors even, right? 11 up. Nope. Union Berlin gets a red card, and it kind of threw the game off its kilter. And Bochum kind of, seized possession after that point. And Union just playing for their lives and keeping salvation. The 1-1 scoreline at that point. So none of the teams, none of our rivals helped us out this weekend. And so again, yes, we beat Hertha, but Stuttgart gets a point, Bochum gets a point, as does Hoffenheim. And really now with, these matches to go, the Hoffenheim game kills us. We had to win that game. And we said, Jack and I talked about this before. We said that we had to win these 2 games or you can kiss automatic survival goodbye. Yes, we beat Hertha Berlin, but we're going to have to get some miracles here at the end of the season. The last 6 games for us, if I can get this thing to work here. Give me 1 second here. Last 6 games of the season. We got Freiburg coming up this Sunday. A game it's winnable, but it's going to be hard. At Freiburg, it's difficult. Werder Bremen, who is towards the bottom of the table now, they were on a fantastic run to start the season, have come back to life. That's a winnable game. Mainz, that's a game that's a winnable game there. And then the gauntlet at the end of the season: Bayern, Eintracht, and Leipzig. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to pull some victories out of our ass. We're going to have to hope that our rivals, our direct rivals in the relegation hunt, somehow lose points, all their points. It's not going to be easy. It could have made life so much easier had we got that win against Hoffenheim. We would be tied. We'd be out of the relegation spot at the moment, and Hoffenheim, Stuttgart, and Hertha would be all below us. But that's not the case, and we got to figure it out and get results. And so it starts with Freiburg this weekend. But again, how these teams are at the top of the table fighting, the top 3 teams in the league, who are all fighting for the title, all choke and cause us to not get the results that we need to go our way. I'll be happy if Dortmund doesn't win a title this year, but man, we needed that result. We needed Bayern to win that game. We needed Union to win their game, and none of those 3 teams could do anything in this one. Figures. But what are we gonna do, right? Big game against Freiburg coming up. They're currently 5th in the table. They're still going for the Champions League spot here. We'll see. They're in a tough battle with Leipzig and Union. It's between those 3 teams for the last 2 spots in the Champions League spots. So they're gonna be playing for it. They're gonna want those points. But Freiburg can be had. So let's see what we can do this weekend. The game is on Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. It's 8:30 Jack time, Chicagoland time. But as I mentioned, we lost 3 players in this game. Fährmann, Brunner, and Schalke. All players are out for a foreseeable future. Fährmann with a groin injury, Schalke with a bloody ankle. Who knows what that injury is there? And it appeared Brunner had a dislocated shoulder in the game. So we'll see how long those players take to recover. I would guess of the 3, depending on how severe the injury is for Schalke, I would imagine Schalke would be the first one to come back. Then probably Brunner, and probably last Fährmann, just because of the nature of the injury. Groin injuries tend to take a little bit longer than most injuries, just because it's a sensitive area. So we'll see. And then Jack's down on the IR as well. We just can't catch a break, right? So that's why, hence the solo pod tonight. Didn't want to pass up the Victory Monday podcast. It is a Victory Monday podcast, so we're drinking. But Jack and Fairman and Skark and Brunner, hopefully you guys recover well quickly. Maybe I know Jack will be back before all the rest of the guys, but yeah, we'll see. So anyway, shout out to the Discord channel and everyone on Twitter and Facebook and Twitch, and obviously if you follow us on YouTube. If you haven't done so yet, check out schalkeamerica.com. We're going to try to keep up with some articles and stuff like that. Latest article was a do or die article talking about the press conference that wrapped after Hoffenheim matchup, and then my thoughts of that press conference. Certainly interesting words from Thomas Reis and the lack of urgency, but it proved me wrong because obviously what he said to the press was different from what he told the team, and the team came out and got the result that we needed. So big up to Thomas Reis and the team for getting the result there. But schalkeamerica.com, definitely check it out. And then again, join the Discord server where we can chat with other like-minded English-speaking Schalke fans. Shout out to Cedric Zalmat and his Discord server, German server there. So definitely go there for the German side of things. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. Somehow I made it past a half-hour mark. I will take it. Keep this one nice, short, and sweet. And then we'll be back with Jack, hopefully on the next podcast. Hopefully he gets better soon. So shout out to you, Jack, again. And then for Jack, you can follow him at JMMANGAN as JMMANGAN. You can follow me at R_KHARMAN. And then if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and like the video for on YouTube. Be much appreciated. But we'll catch you in the next game. And maybe I can get a live stream going. We'll see. A little busy at this time of year, so for me with work. But we'll try nonetheless. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your rest of your Victory Monday whenever you listen to this podcast. And we'll catch you soon. Glück auf.